Hi ladies, I'm going to try and redo this video, although I'm not going to do a tutorial on these vintage tags that I've done. I am going to re-show them because the sound isn't very good on the others. Excuse me. So what we're going to do is start with the one that I finished with last, and if you remember, this is the like mother like daughter one. The background, what I've done these on is just a plain 8 by 4 inch card, 2mm thick card, chipboard, and what I did, I stamped, as you can see that, I stamped some plain white paper with the vintage stamps, purses, vintage cups and patterns and that. I just did a full sheet all over it, stuck that to the card and then cut it out, and then began to decorate the tag. And as you can see, oh, excuse me, I've got a really dry throat today. And then as you can see, I put some poppies on, tied in with a little ribbon. I used vintage lace in a off-white, off-cream colour. On top of that I added some black velvet with red beaded trim. This is a stick-on trim, and it's a lot easier to use unless you want a single piece and then you've got to keep snapping it off. With that I used one of the die cut frames that I have. All I did with that was stamp the colours on. Oh yes, and the background, after putting the background on the paper, I then used the chocolate coloured ink and just gently rubbed over it to age it. But I used the same chocolate ink to go on the frame, which I just dabbed around, and then added a little bit of another colour. On that I did some more of the bling, the strips of bling. Might need to glue that down a bit more. And then these butterflies, and these butterflies were white material ones, and then don't know if you can see that, and all I did was I used acrylic paint in like a plum colour, and then added some beads, some little glass beads in red. Moving along, I made the flower, and I UT'd the leaves, the petals, the bottom two, and then left the top one as it is, putting a nice little brad in. And then here it was an earring that some of the children in school gave me. They brought them in, they bring me all the oddments that they've got, which I'm very grateful for, because I use them to decorate these vintage cards. And then I did put a little flower on, a little tiny flower there. I get those from a lady in Wales where I get my marabou feathers from. So that's that. The next one I'm going to show is the very first one I ever did. It was the first tag that I ever made, a vintage tag. And as you can see, it was a plain white background, just stamped it in black ink, and then went over it in white and then over again in black. Used a little pearl hat pin, cut a vintage picture out of 4 ladies, and this is Girls Will Be Girls. Use some of the black pearl string that I have, use a white lace on the bottom, and added some black lace over that. Again, the flowers are just prima flowers, plain white one at the bottom, then a black one, and black's very hard to get. I keep looking and I just can't find any, so if you ladies know where you can get black prima flowers, please tell me, because I like them and I use them a lot on my vintage work. And then you got the black and white flower there with a spotted brad. And I also added, I don't know if you can see, not very well really, just above the black trim I've added some white ribbon, white silk ribbon. Might have to do 2 videos on this. Here's another one, tag, see if I can show it, oops, wrong way around. It's really awkward to do this. But anyway, this one goes this way. I've made some little hinges, which are thanks to Rachel. It's Rach 10113, sorry. Brilliant ideas, brilliant girl, excellent work she does, fabulous at her vintage work. I copied these from her. These are only hand done though, they're not bought ones, they're hand cut and coloured. The background is like a chocolate brown card with silver embossing pattern on it. Again, a couple of Prima flowers. I edged these in like a gold paint. White lace, love this lace, can't get enough of it. Could do some more actually. And then again using the black beaded trim, black pearl trim should I say, and a vintage photograph of an actress, can't remember who she was actually, and hers is Blondes Have More Fun, so that's that one. Love this next one. So you can do it. There you go. And this one is I've used Prima flower again, embossed in bronze. Plain white one, just gone over in chocolate pad, in the chocolate ink. Little flower brad in the middle, embossed that in bronze, and then added a diamond bling. I did put the leaves underneath just to give it a bit more colour. Then I used these are stick-ons. Now I'm hoping I can get these again because they are gorgeous. They really are. Very pearly. You can't see properly. Very pearly, in like a chocolate plummy colour. Really nice. The background again was just plain white background, which I coloured with ink, chocolate brown ink. Did it darker as I got to the edge, and then edged it in black. I'm not sure if you can see that. Just gives it that old effect. Picture is of when we are together. Again, use another Prima flower, embossed it in bronze. This is the stick-on bling, and just manipulate it to where you want it. And this picture, I printed it off the internet, tore it up around the edges, coloured it in the chocolate brown, and then edged it in black again, and it gives it a real old feel to it. Yeah, so that's that one. One more I think, and then I might have to do another video. And I love this one, pretty one. Again, this is a chocolate brown card. It has the swirl on it already in like a blue, powder blue. Put the powder blue ribbon on. Prima flower at the bottom. Homemade flower at the top. Homemade glimmer misted as well. These were bought. Little flowers here and a powder blue brad. With the picture, I just edged it in the same lace as I used on the bottom, and this one is Blood is Thicker Than Water. Again, another Prima flower, homemade flower in the middle, and a bought flower with a brad there. And then I've done all the edging with turquoise blue stick-on bling, same as the edging there. Right, I'm going to have to do another one, so look out for part 2. Thanks.